Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Rockies Daily. I'm your host, Scott Ayers. We are talking all things Colorado Rockies. And folks, the Rockies have done it. They've done the impossible. They've gotten their first win against the San Diego Padres this year. They improved to 1-5 against the Padres in a game where the bats absolutely came to life. Look, last show, we talked about how the Rockies bats have been a huge disappointment. And then they come out 15 knocks against the Padres. They did this against the Dodgers just a few days ago where they had 15 knocks. This one, 15 hits, 8 runs. And Tomoyuki Sugano gives them 5 1/3 or 5 2/3. And so overall, a really good performance. Big part of this show is just going to be focusing on pitching and how some of the pitchers have looked just through April. Not going to go through everyone, just some key guys that I think deserve to be highlighted. And I'm probably missing a few, but wanted to highlight a few guys. But first, in this game, Rockies won 8-3. And like I mentioned, the bats came to life. Some names that have been struggling recently. Here's how they did: Castro 2 for 3, McCarthy 2 for 4, Rumfield 2 for 5, and then of course the two guys that you feel pretty good about. Goodman, who goes 3 for 4 with a bomb. Mickey Moniak goes 2 for 4 in this game, who also had an RBI. And so overall, it's just encouraging to see these bats show a little bit of life. Now, they had a favorable matchup. Walker Buehler, God help his soul, might be done. he does not have much in the tank. His is just a really bad outing. 2 2/3, 4 earned runs. Yeah, I just don't think there's there. His ERA is close to 6 now. And that's kind of what the Padres have, are a bunch of kind of misfits in this starting rotation, but they've had a lot of success with some of these guys. We've talked about Randy Vasquez and the great success he had yesterday against the Rockies. But Walker Buehler is just not one of those guys. And this was a bad start from him. And unlike that start against German Marquez in San Diego, where the Rockies jumped to a 4-0 lead and lost it, totally different story here. Rockies not only maintain the lead, they grow that lead throughout this game before winning 8-3. Jaden Hill made an appearance. He goes an inning and a third, gives up a run. Antonio Senzatella, once again, a scoreless outing thanks to an error. So he goes 2 innings pitched. No earned runs, like I said, because of the error. And really important thing, 32 pitches pitched for Senzatella, 24 strikes. He is finding the zone extremely well. Jaden Hill gives you 3 strikeouts, and Sugano gives you 4. So once again, solid pitching from the Colorado Rockies. It's a weird statement to be saying again and again and again, but it needs to be the storyline of March and April. The Colorado Rockies pitching has been phenomenal. They have an opportunity to win the series now against the Padres. And we will talk about how this April has been just a huge positive. But to get their 10th win in April, when last year they started 9-50. They started 9-50 last year, and right now they're sitting at 10-15. It's just unbelievable. Just the big jump that we've seen from this team. Look, a lot can happen. It's just the first month of the season, and we can see some fall-offs. But really, really proud of this start to the year from these guys and how they've played. They are not the worst team in baseball. There are a lot of teams that look worse than the Rockies. The New York Mets, who have probably quadrupled the payroll of the Rockies. That's being a little dramatic. At least double or tripled the payroll of the Rockies, are currently worse. And so, look, great start to the year. And it's Sugano. He's been a huge, huge positive so far in April. And it's honestly the most intriguing signing that the Rockies made, just because of his struggles in Baltimore. And we'll look at his baseball savant. There are obviously going to be there's going to be a few concerns, but overall, to be a guy who's now had 2 starts at Coors Field, he got shelled by the Dodgers and then holds his own against the Padres. 5 hits, a walk, 4 Ks. His whip is down. His ERA is down from last year. He's got a 3.4 ERA. He had an over 5 ERA last year. The interesting thing about Sugano as well, if he can give you another solid month, if May can be good, and he can start well in June, he's got to be an asset you consider flipping. I think we all want to be attached to this guy because he is this new pitcher who's having success at Coors Field, but he's also 36 years old. And he just does not fit the window for the Rockies. But he does give you a window into what can work with the Colorado Rockies. And so I think his start has been phenomenal. There is a warning sign, though. Like, you look at him, hey, this thing looks pretty nice. This thing looks shiny. The warning sign is, though, he had a pretty solid start in Baltimore as well. Pretty much a mid-3 ERA through May, which is why the significance of needing to be solid in June, because June and beyond really didn't have any good starts after that. Struggled a lot. And so you're going to need him to have a good, like I said, April, which he did, May, which he's shown he's capable of, but it's that third month, that month of June. Can he consistently stay in this position where he's putting the Rockies in a winning position? He's only allowing a few runs per game. If he's able to do that, he becomes an asset that the Rockies are able to move, which is why what we talked about, ESPN's article at the start of the month, they said it was Michael Lorenzen most likely to be traded, but he just really hasn't done anything. If anything, I think it's someone like Sugano, who is a little bit older, who had all these expectations, struggled in Baltimore, but has found a place in Colorado. But again, a lot has to happen for him to be in that position to be flipped. But I think I would love to see it. One, because it gives him a chance to actually pitch for a team that's playing playoff baseball. Two, the reward that the Rockies could get would be favorable for the years that they do see themselves being a more competitive and playoff contending team. And of course, this is the part of the show, obviously, will be kind of fun to look at just some of these guys and the success that they've had, some of the surprises. I use Baseball Savant. It just gives you a better idea of what some of these stats will look like. And we'll start with Sugano, and you see a lot of blue. And again, if this is your first time watching Savant, caveman speak for my fellow cavemen. Red, good. Blue, bad. And so you'll see, like, you look at Sugano and that expected ERA versus like what his actual ERA is. That being in the deep blue is going to be a little concerning. His off-speed run value is solid. And I mentioned it, he really does a great job when it comes to his at-bats and preventing walks. But he gives up some hard hit balls. His fastball velocity is down. He's not making a lot of guys whiff, and his strikeout rate isn't tremendous. But believe it or not, this is actually all a step up from what we saw last year. And so that is something important to note, that he has actually improved from last year. This next guy, this is a similar chart that you would see from some of the top pitchers in baseball. But instead, it's from our very own Chase Dollander, who we talked about last show. He has been so good. I can't state this enough. What you're looking at is extremely impressive for a guy pitching at Coors Field. That ERA, a 2.88 ERA. His off-speed run value, not great. And he is giving up some hard hit balls, but man, look at everything else. Look at the chase, the whiff, the strikeout rate. He is not allowing a ton of walks, and he's producing ground balls. Chase has been so good for the Colorado Rockies in this first month of the season. He has pitched with confidence, and he's talked about he expects to be the best pitcher in baseball, and he has acted like it through the first month of the season. One other starter that I want to highlight is Kyle Freeland, who is also, I know he's currently dealing with an injury, but this is a solid graph for a guy who struggled last year. And you see he is still having success. Batters are struggling to have a solid barrel to the ball against Kyle Freeland. Um, Overall, just really solid stuff from K Free and a bit of a renaissance, hopefully, year for Freeland. And he definitely did that. Do want to cover a couple guys from the bullpen, and let's just cover the two guys that we saw today. Jaden Hill, he didn't have much of a page last year just because you had to have a certain amount of innings pitched to be recognized on this. But look, some of this is really good. His fastball, him and Victor Vodnik, who we're not covering today, that fastball velocity is in the upper tier of baseball. Really, really good stuff from Jaden Hill. He's been just kind of part of this key machine of a bullpen. And that 1.8 ERA, he's been great. With 10 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts, Jaden Hill. The guy that I really want to focus on. This honestly is a shocking page to look at. I don't think any of us expected Antonio Senzatella. It's unbelievable what Senzatella has been able to do this year. Just look at his ERA. Don't even look at the red. The red's incredible. His ERA, a .55 ERA in 16 innings pitched. He's pitched 16 innings. Look at his last 2 years. Obviously, dealt with injuries 2 years ago, so only had 12 innings pitched. But look at last year, 130 innings pitched. He lost 15 games last year with a 6.65 ERA. His whip was a 1.84. Now it's a .73. Antonio Senzatella, nice to meet you. And, everything is good. Everything has been working for Senzatella. He has been, you could argue the Rockies' best pitcher. He has been just that good. And at least from a bullpen sake, probably the Rockies' best guy out of the bullpen. And the Rockies have had some really good guys out of the bullpen this year, but Senzatella has just been phenomenal. He has kept games close. He has kept the Rockies in leads. Really could not be more happy for a guy that I think a lot of us were like, this is probably it. He's probably, he could be another guy that the Rockies look to move at the deadline. If he's pitching like this, you will get something in return. You will be happy with, you should be happy with the return that you get. I shouldn't say you will be, because we have seen this team make some doozy of a trade, but in Paul, we trust. Senzatella, man, you can't say enough about Antonio Senzatella. The work that he put in, he has worked with Alan Leichman a ton coming into the year. We were a little worried because that sinker pitch was not looking great in spring training. But man, Antonio Senzatella has been great, and the Rockies have won 10 games in April. We mentioned it wasn't until June last year that they hit win 10. They were 9-50. Pretty much the laughing stock in all of sports. And they're 10-15, and they're a competitive baseball team. I'm not going to say they're a good baseball team. They are competitive, though. They have been very competitive in these games, and that is worth something. That is absolutely worth something in this first month of the year. Just from what we saw last year. We were basically all blinded by just the nastiness. But multiple teams are below the Rockies, right? Like there's 7 teams in baseball with the worst record. And it's a long season and there's a long way to go. But for the Rockies, I mean, this is substantial just compared to what we've seen, and it just feels like there is a lot more going for this club in terms of now and in the future. Just with some of the development of guys like Chase Dolander, being able to turn around guys like Senzatella, Sugano having a solid start. That is believing in Alan Leichman. Warren Schaefer's decision making. We mentioned how he kept chasing the game in a bases loaded jam, trusting in your young guys, building in that confidence. Those are all things that matter. I'm really interested to see. This month is not over. They've got one more against the Padres. Then they've got series with the Mets and Reds. I said if the Rockies can go 15-15, that's an amazing start to the year. I think that'll be more challenging. But even if they can get a couple more wins, that's a wonderful start to a year that is meant to just be building blocks. And I really like the building blocks that we've seen in the early stages of 2026. So that does it for another episode of Rockies Daily. I hope you like the show. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Do you like seeing those stats? Are you like, Scott, I don't give a rip. You need to riff more. Fine, I'll riff more. Regardless, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.